Hi, I'm Anita. Welcome to another video. Today I'm going to be making a lanyard. So the beads that I'm using today for this lanyard is a mix of various colors in shades of brown. And you can get an assortment of this bead mix on Amazon. Here's a quick glimpse. As you can see, there's several different shades, and I'm going to be adding 8/0 seed beads for spacers and a few bead caps on just a couple of the sections, and it's all going to be a random pattern. I'm going to be using the Beadalon 49 strand beading stringing wire. This is really heavy duty because lanyards need a lot of strength because you know they hold key cards and there's constant tugging on a lanyard, so you want to make sure you're using a very strong bead stringing wire for material. The other thing you're going to need is a lanyard clip and a ring. This is optional, but I like to have the option. If they want to take this off, they can. I'm going to be making the lanyard attach onto this ring here. So the first thing I'm going to do is get my pattern set. So to keep this video relatively short, I'm going to show you the sample of the pattern that I have strung, and I'm using it's called stainless steel rod wires. This is a 1 millimeter diameter. You can get these on Amazon. There's also a lady on YouTube that sells these. She calls them magic rods, I believe. And you can get them through her, and that's Misty Moon Designs. She has an Etsy shop. But you can also get these on Amazon, and these are 1 millimeter diameter, as I mentioned. And the ones I have are 20-inch length. So they have them in different lengths. But you want to make sure you're using diameter no bigger than 1 millimeter. Otherwise, it won't go through your beads. So this will help me lay out my pattern because my lanyard is going to be a finished length of 34 inches. So I'm going to make two identical strands, approximately 17 inches long, and then I'll be putting these together onto the bead stringing wire. I'm basically going to transfer them from my rod to the stringing wire. And here's what my first pattern looks like. So we'll go ahead and get started. And you're going to need a couple of rubber stopper beads on each end to keep your beads from falling off. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at this end here, and I'm going to be doing the mirror image of what I've already done on this first example. So I'm going to start by picking up one of my crystal beads, and these are 6 millimeter, by the way, 6 millimeter rounds. You can use really any size of bead that you want. You can use 6/0s, 8 millimeter, 10 millimeter. If you want to make it really chunky, you can use wood beads, crystals. These are glass, what I'm using, or you can use fire polish. So you could be really creative with this. So I'm going to start picking up my seed beads for spacers. So I'm alternating a 6 millimeter with a spacer. So I'm going to pick up another white one, another spacer, and the pattern I chose to do was increments of 3. So I'm going to put 3 of the white, and then I'm going to alternate with my next color. So I'm putting on another spacer like that. So I have these 3 to start. And now I'm going to pick up one of these. It's kind of a light brown color. Now I'm going to pick up another spacer, another brown, another spacer, and another brown. And it's a very easy project to do. So I'm going to continue alternating until I have, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. I want 4 sets of alternating white and the brown with the spacers in between. So I'm going to do 3 more of these off camera, and then I'll show you the next color palette I'm going to be adding on. So let me get the next one strung on, and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and here's what I have strung on so far. I've alternated the white and the light brown with the 8/0 seed beads in between. And this color, it's kind of an iris color with some purplish and gold and bronze shades. It's kind of an iridescent color. And then I'm also using galvanized gold 8/0s for some of the other portions. So here's the first segment of it. And I've got about 7 inches of beads so far from what I've measured. So I need another 10 inches to complete my 17-inch strand for the 1/2 of the lanyard. So when I bring the two strips together, it'll be a total of 34 inches length, which is ideal. You can go 34 or 36. You don't want it to hang too low so it's not getting in the way. Okay, so now that I have these strung on, I'm going to go on and pick up my next pattern, which I'm going to be alternating just random colors, as you can see. There's no rhyme or reason here, but you do want your strands to match. So I'm doing a mirror image of what I've already done on this side. I'll be doing the identical same pattern as I did on the first sample that I did. Okay, so now I ended with an 8/0 seed bead here. Now I'm going to pick up a clear one, and I'm going to put another iris spacer. Now I'm going to pick up this pearl. It's kind of a champagne color pearl, or more like a taupe color. I'm going to pick up another seed bead, and then another clear. So I've got this pattern that I've added here. So I'm going to continue, and this is the different color combinations I'm going to be using. So just keep in mind that what you want to do is, like I said, make the mirror image of what you've already done on the first half of the lanyard. Okay, so now I'm picking up another 8/0. And now I'm going to be, actually I'm going to pick up this, it's like a wine color, kind of a marbleized bead, very pretty. I'm going to pick up another 8/0. And now I'm picking up a pearl, another 8/0, and then this wine colored bead, like that. So that's what I have added on. Now I'm going to switch over to gold. So I'm going to pick up a gold 8/0 bead first. Now I'm going to pick up, because I want to do a bead cap on this segment here. So I'm going to pick up my bead cap, and I want the cup facing up, like that. Now I'm going to pick up my pearl, pop that on. Now I'm going to pick up an 8/0 in gold, like that. Now I'm going to pick up a crystal. This is a 4mm bicone. I'm going to pick up another 8/0 in gold. Now I'm going to pick up the pearl. And now I'm going to add the bead cap on top to end the segment with the cup facing down. So here's what this looks like that I've added. I've got the 8/0 in gold, the bead cap facing this direction, a pearl, an 8/0, a 4mm bicone, another 8/0 in gold, the pearl, and then the bead cap to close this pattern. So now I'm going to continue on to my next set of beads, which I'm going to do the wine colored, taupe, and wine color here. So for this one, I'm going to be using, put a gold bead at the end to end where my pearl pattern was. Now I'm going to pick up the wine color, and I'm going to go back to the iris 8/0s, pick up the next pearl, another 8/0, an iris, and then this glass bead like that, and another iris. Actually, I'm going to pick up a gold instead of an iris because I'm going to do another bead cap pearl here. So this is what I have so far. I'm going to do another section like this. So we're going to pick up the bead cap facing up, the pearl, find the hole, now we're going to pick up an 8/0 in gold, 4mm bicone, and this is kind of a topaz color. You can use any colors you want. You can totally make this random and it'll come out beautiful, whatever you decide to add. So I just added the pearl, and now I'm going to close it off with the bead cap on top. So here's what I have so far. It's looking really nice. So now I'm going to continue adding these next beads in this order using the iris copper. I'm going to end this one with the gold like that. Now I'm going to go pick up the next bead, another iris 8/0. Now I'm going to use one of these pearls, another 8/0, and another glass bead, and another iris. And I'm going to continue adding till I get the rest of my pattern matching my other side. So let me do that off camera, and I'll show you the completed pattern in just a moment. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back, and I have the rest of the pattern beaded on here, and you want to make sure you add your rubber stopper on the other end when you're done so you don't lose your beads. So I have two of the identical sections here for the lanyard. Actually, I need to fix this one. So let me make a correction and I'll be right back. Apologies for that error. I'm still recovering from a bad sinus infection and my head's still underwater. So anyway, this is how your two patterns should match. So you know you've got your lanyard equally the same on both sides. And each one of these is 17 inches. So now what we're going to do is we're going to cut a piece of our stringing wire, and you need to allow for 17 inches times 2 plus a couple of inches on each end for doing the crimping. So what I'm going to do is cut a piece of stringing wire, and I cut mine for 42 inches long. So what you want to do is use a clamp on one end of your stringing wire. So as you're stringing these on, your beads aren't going to fall off. So all you're going to do is you're going to feed all of the beads from your rod onto your stringing wire. So I'm going to do this off camera so that I'm not keeping you tied up for too long in this video. Because basically it's very simple. You're just taking these off in the order that they are on here, and you're going to put them on your stringing wire. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to start at this end. I'm going to start, this is the end that's going to drape around the neck. That's going to, and then this is where the crimping is going to be done at the end to connect it to my ring. My ring is going to be down here, and this will be going around my neck. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start stringing from this direction. So I'm going to just flip this around. And I'll just show you to get started, and then I will do the rest of it off camera. So I'm going to take the stopper off of this end, and as you're doing that, be careful that you don't accidentally pull it off the stopper at the other end, and then you're going to have beads dropping off. So I'm carefully pulling this off like that, and what I'm going to do is push this down a little bit, and I'm going to be taking these off. And I'm going to start stringing these on my string in the same order. And if you can do multiple at the same time, might help it go a little quicker. Sometimes it won't go through on the first try, so you'll have to do them individually. So I'm going to continue. And as you're pulling these on, you want to get those down, and they'll be stopped by your bead stopper, so they're not going to come off. And you're just going to continue stringing these in this order, and when you get to the end, I'll show you how to do the other half. So let me go ahead and string these off camera, and I'll be right back. All right, here's what I have so far. And I'm halfway through the first half of the lanyard. So I'm going to continue putting these on, and I'll be back shortly. So here is the first half of the lanyard. What I'm going to do is set this rod aside, and I'm going to continue stringing the other half. Now, as you notice, this part here is the part that I want to drape behind the neck. And this will be the part that will attach to the ring. So what I want to do is I want to bring these beads down to the end here. So I'm going to put my other clip on like that. And I'm going to pick up my strand and feed this down so that this is at the end. And I'm going to continue beading from this side, stringing from this side. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my other strand, I'm going to flip this around, because I'm going to be beading or stringing my beads from this direction. So I'm going to continue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to add a spacer in between here, and so that it's centered, I'm going to add 3 of these dark beads to close the pattern off. So let me grab 3 of those, because I want that to connect like that, if that makes any sense. So I'm going to get my spacers here. I need a couple of more of these 8/0s. And we're going to continue stringing, so I'll just get you started here, and then I'll do the rest off camera. So to do the connection, I'm going to pick up a spacer, a tan, a spacer, another brownish bead here, another spacer, another brownish bead, and another spacer. That's going to connect my pattern. Set that aside. So now I'm going to continue picking up from here all the way down in this order. So I'm going to take my bead stopper off this end, and if you can pick up 3 at a time and try to get it on, you can. So I ended with a spacer. I'm going to pick up these 3 like that and string these on in that same order, like that. So now my next bead to pick up is the 8/0. And now I'm going to pick up these next 3, string those on like that, and I'm going to keep going in that manner all the way across. So I'll meet you when I get to the very end, and then we'll go on to the next step. Get near the end here, just have a few more to go, and we'll be making the crimping to the clasp or the ring shortly. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. And here is the completed bead stringing pattern. That's going to be the finished lanyard here once we get the crimping done. So all of these materials I have listed in the description box. You'll be able to get a lot of these on Amazon. So as far as this, it's like a key ring and a clip, and these are sold together. You can buy it with or without it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on my ring first, and I'm using this is a split ring pliers, and it has a bent nose on it. And what you do is you put this on your key ring, whatever size you're using, to get it open, and then that makes it easy to put your finding on. So that's an additional clip if they want to put rings or keys or any other thing they want to carry around their neck. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my crimps on here at this end, so they have the flexibility. If they don't want this on, they can take this off without, this being in the way. But this just gives them a little more versatility. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take one end and I'm going to pick up, and I'm using number 2 crimp beads here. So we're going to pick up, I like to double crimp these to give them extra security. So I'm going to pick up 2 crimp beads like that, put those down, and now I'm going to bring my stringing wire around the ring like that, and I'm going to pass this end through my 2 crimp beads, and I want to go through a few of the beads as well. So I'm going to try to pass through this first glass bead, the 8/0, and the pearl if possible. It's kind of a challenge. You just have to fish it through. So there's the end of my stringing wire. I'm going to pull that to draw that together. And I want to give it enough room so that this will move on the ring. I don't want it real tight. I want it to be able to have some movement. So what I'm going to do, and that's why you want to use this really heavy duty 49 strand stringing wire on this. Okay, so I'm going to just hold on to this, and I want to do my crimp in the center here where the 2 strands meet. So I am using a pair of crimp pliers. I like these because they have a very sharp point where I'm going to do my crimp. So what I'm going to do is put my crimp tube right in that channel above where the pointy part is, if you can see that. And I'm going to squeeze right here. Now I'm going to do the same thing with the other crimp, squeeze. And now I'm going to fold this in half by getting it in that first or second channel. Now I'm going to squeeze the other one. Kind of tricky getting it in there. If you can't get it in the channel, see if you can just get it squeezed. Turn it sideways. There we go. And I'm going to tug on it, make sure it's nice and secure. And I'm going to, it feels pretty good. I'm going to clip this end with my wire cutters. So that side is done. So what I'm going to do now, I want this on the other end, so I'm going to push this through. There we go, because I want it on this end like that. So I'm going to grab the other end of my lanyard, and I want to make sure all of my beads are all the way flush and there aren't any gaps. So I'm going to kind of coil this around just to get the kinks out. And I'm going to do the same thing on this side. Pick up my 2 crimp beads like that, and then I'm going to pass them through, and you pass that back through the 2 crimp beads and your first 3 or 4 beads like that. Once you can get that through, pull that through. I'm going to try to get the slack out of here. Not too tight, but you want it to have a little bit of a movement like that. So here's where I'm going to do the crimp, and then we'll conclude this tutorial. So just like we did on the other side, going to get our crimping pliers, put that right in the bin, squeeze, and then repeat on the other crimp. Now we're going to fold this over. There's one. And I'd suggest using the Beadalon crimp tubes, size number 2. Those are the better quality. I'm not sure. I thought these were Beadalon, but they're not as easy to crimp. Get that closed. It's a bit of a challenge. There we go. Nice and secure. And I prefer to double crimp these. Like I said, a lanyard takes a lot of abuse from pulling and tugging. So here's the finished lanyard at the end, and they have the option of putting one of those clips on here or putting the card on the end of the key ring here. It's a very elegant way to wear a key card around your neck without wearing a shoelace around your neck. So very beautiful, very easy to do. The key thing is you want to make sure and match your both sides of your pattern. And I'll have a list of all of the materials in the description box as to where you can get all of these, or you can just use whatever beads you have in your stash. I hope that you enjoyed today's video, give it a thumbs up, and please subscribe if you haven't subscribed yet. For those of you that have subscribed, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming back to look at my videos and leaving comments. I really appreciate it. I also sell my own jewelry, so you'll see this along with 4 or 5 other lanyards I've done already. This is a new category I've added to my website, so you'll be able to take a look at all the other beautiful creations I've done with regard to lanyards. So I also, like I said, sell my own jewelry. You'll see a link to my website in the description box, along with the list of vendors where you can buy these materials. So with that, I'd like to say have a great afternoon, a wonderful week, happy beading, and thank you for watching. See you next time.